Hello everyone, today is our second design review session video for the work of my students who uploaded it to show me their UI design work from my course on Udemy. The student I'm going to discuss today is Saqib Amin, and he have uploaded almost I think 17 designs. Only one design, this one I'm going to share the review in a later video. Right now I'm going to show all his other designs. Okay, so I'm going to show them one by one and show you what are the problems I see. Okay, now this is the first one. His designs are really great. He's improving at great speed. Okay, so sometimes I think that I'm looking at my own designs. Okay, so everything is perfect. Only one thing is that this menu bar over here, make sure that it has the same space from the top and the left. Okay, you can see the top space is more, the left is a bit less space. Okay, everything other is great. The typography, emphasis, everything, I think you have purchased my typography course, so this is great. One more thing, that this join learn UX ID is not properly visually aligned at the middle of this button. Okay, sometimes when you align with Photoshop, it is mathematically aligned, so adjust according to your eyes. I think it should be 2 or 3 pixels down. Okay, so this is it. Okay, now coming to this one, this is great design. The lower portion is almost great. I think this should be maybe at the right side or maybe in the middle. Okay, so don't move it at some random space. Okay, so according to this line over here, move it at this side. Okay, now the second thing I see over here is that no typography contrast over here. You can see your text is a bit boring over here. No size variation. So I think you should watch my other course, typography. I think you might have already finished and started watching that one. Okay, so make sure you vary your text over here. Also, you can see this green is on the green. You are using again the green color. I think you should go with some yellow or maybe some other bright color, maybe white and this yellow or maybe darker color, something like that. But I think you should avoid green. Okay, because you are using green a lot. It is already in the background too much different shades, then you are using green at the top again. Okay, this is it about this. And this one is a great example. Everything seems perfect. Okay, so I give it 110% to this design. Spacing is great. You can see over here the type variation in size and style is great over here. Button is looking great. You can see this is a perfect example of a header. Okay, so I will leave it like that. Okay, now coming to this one. Okay, this one is also a great example and a great usage of black and white. I really love it. Only thing is that maybe I think you should use some color in this call to action button. Okay, so it is called CTA or call to action button. Try to use some color over here. Maybe in this white bar over here, try to use some very bright color like red or blue or green, something like this. So get the attention to this button. Okay, so it is looking, the whole design is looking too much monochromatic. Okay, so it looks dull. So try to eliminate that by using just one color. You might have seen some photographs where photographer use the subject or the face in colored and everything around it is black and white. So this is basically a design tip. Okay, everything looks great. Even the distances from top and left, this is great over here. So I will leave it like that. Okay, this is really awesome, Saqib Amin. I think I should give you some grand trophy for this design. Okay, so this is basically a dribble shot I showed you in my course, and he tried to mimic it by just learning the inner shadows and drop shadows. Okay, Now this is really awesome. The light, the shading, everything is great. Even you can see there is an inset shadow, inner shadow in this, used in this tick mark, and even these uh, cross over here. This is really perfect. Everything is great. I suggest that other students should also copy and try to do something like this. Okay, now this pressed effect, the image I received is a bit small, so try to make it big. So I'm going to zoom it. Okay, everything looks great. The only thing is that I think he made this pressed effect a bit more elevated from this, that bottom. I think this white is a bit more, 2 pixels, but I think it's perfect, no problem over here. Okay, now coming to this form design, I think this one is great. Everything looks great. Only this login button, it should have some color, because it's a main primary action over here. So try to use some color, because this gray shade can be mistaken by some disabled button. Okay, so it is more of a usability and user experience point. Otherwise, design wise, it is great. Now this sandwich cafe exercise, I think he did it perfectly, and everything looks great. Even the distances, the fonts usage, everything is almost perfect. Okay, so I will give it 100%. Okay, now this clipping mask, I think this one is also very great. He created used only this orange color, and it is looking really great. Okay, this is the same thing I wanted in that black and white header. Okay, so try to use some color. You can see this is really making it very unique, and grabs attention, and it looks like it is pressable or it is a button. Okay, so this is really great. Other students should look at it and see what he has done. Okay, now this graph, it is, everything looks great. Even the alignment and everything. Only thing I see over here is some weakness in these color schemes. Try to use some already built colors, like flat colors. Pick colors, 2 colors from that flat scheme, rather than using your own. Okay, so these color looks flat, but these are, a very sharp, or maybe a very different colors, maybe too sharp and too dull. But I think that it is a bit weak in the color scheme. So try to pick a color scheme from some website already made scheme, which has greens and yellows and blues. Okay, so maybe try to use some scheme from some other guy's design, where he has used some graphs or something like that. Okay, here also the same problem is your color scheme. It is not very differentiating, orange and a red color. Try to use some maybe red and blue, or maybe red and green, something like that. Okay, like this cyan green and this red. Okay, these can do work. So only thing I see is color scheme. I think you should work on your color schemes, Saqib Amin. This one has the same problem. Color scheme a bit very sharp or dull color scheme mixed together, and not much difference. Like this is dull orangish red, and this is orange. So try to use some other color. Okay, so this one is also great. Everything looks great. I don't see any shadow over here, so it is just a 3D button without shadow. I think you should add some subtle shadow, very diffuse shadow over here, to make it look great. The color you have used over here is good. You can use inset, like inset effect over here, by using some drop shadow or inner shadow, 1 pixel inner shadow. I think I showed that technique in the first review video with Daryl Hainsworth. Okay, so this is good. You can add some shadow over here, and it would be perfect, and add some drop shadow over here. Okay, 1 pixel drop shadow or inner shadow. Okay, this one really looks awesome. I think you should you try to mimic some effect from some other exercise, or maybe UI I have seen on Dribble. Okay, this is also great. You used used it perfectly. A gradient over here, pressed effect with gradient and shadows, and it looks great. Okay, so this one I'm going to give you 100%. Only thing I see over here is that you are not aware that in our gradient effect, sorry, in our, let me show you what I mean over here. Okay, now I have this green button over here, maybe this gray button over here, and I want to give a stroke effect like this one over here, which have light over here. So I will go to this gradient rather than this normal color, and I can use reflective or radial or something like this. So try to manage it over here. You can see at the top I'm having white. So if I try to use some other, you can see over here, let me increase the size. You can see how I am using a gradient on the stroke of a button. Okay, so all the buttons you see with colorful, you can see, as you can see over here at colorful overlays and layer styles, you can see basically they have used this gradient with a stroke with a gradient effect. Okay, so fill type gradient. Now why I don't promote to use this technique is that in CSS and web design you cannot use a gradient on a stroke. Okay, so stroke should be a same color or maybe a darker or lighter color, but you can use one color on it. So if you try to use two colors like that, it is not possible. So if this UI is going to be a mobile app or something like that, you can go ahead or just to show off, but in the real world I think it is not able to be produced. It can't be produced in coding. Okay, so if you try to use something like this, you can use light color over here again like that, or maybe if you want to go ahead, you can use white at the sides and leave the rest in the middle like that, and you can move it with the angles like this. This is the same effect. You can go over here. So this is another technique I showed you over here. So this is great, everything looks great, and this is again his design and it is looking perfect. The only thing I a bit off is this subtle shadow around these images. I think it's good. Maybe don't use some blur. You can use a hard shadow of purple color maybe at the bottom. Okay, then this design, this is also great. Everything looks great and perfectly aligned. So maybe this one is a bit up in the position. You should move it down 1 or 2 pixels. It is just your visual preference. I think it might be already in the middle, but visually it is not centered. Okay, so Saqib Amin, this is all your review. I think you have learned a lot. The only thing I would suggest you is improve your color scheme sense, or if you it will take some time to get good at colors, but try to use colors from already made color schemes. Okay, so this is a tip. You have already, I think you have mastered already a lot of shadows and inner shadows and layer styles. I think you should be called master of layer styles. Okay, so this is it, and hope to see you guys in my next design review session 3. So till then, take care and goodbye.